All right, yo, let's get back to this. We're going to talk National Rugby League with Jason Bray, our special expert with the Rugby Lovers Guide. Know that we had big game Panthers Broncos, had Rabbitohs Roosters, had EOC Eagles. All of them does not feel very favorable towards the away team. Let's talk about yours first off. That horrific game, Panthers Broncos. Yes, tell me about how you guys can
again, I didn't think we were going to
80
win.
minutes.
I didn't think we're missing Reynolds, who's our general, and Haas, who's our enforcer. Panthers at home are tough enough as it is. That's their fortress. They play very well there. They strangle teams and beat them. And without Haas particularly, I guess Haas and Reynolds, that was always going to be a tough one. Then what happened to Reece Walsh? Well, that just sealed the deal. Where we just my daughter went to sleep after that. We were watching and she fell asleep because she said this is all done, and she was right. And I think it was a controversial. I don't know if you saw the tackle. As a person who watches a lot of rugby, it's a tackle that in rugby would get you a red card in a blink of an eyelid. Head clash. Reece Walsh was standing up. Tylan May was actually jumped into his head, smashed his head. He's now out. Reece Walsh is now out for 5 to 6 weeks. But this is one of the big difference between where rugby and rugby league is different from each other in Australia. Rugby league people just roll with that a lot easier. Not even Broncos fans were upset. But I was like, oh my gosh. Tylan May stays on the field, doesn't even get a HIA check. He scores a try. Reece Walsh is out for 5 to 6 weeks. And finally the NRL, and it gets a little bit of discussion in the media, but finally the NRL secretly says, I think I showed you that thing that said, we shouldn't let that kind of thing go. We shouldn't let that kind of thing go. After Reece Walsh went, the Panthers put on a clinic. Cleary was great. Just what happened is we had to rearrange our whole back line, and they exploited that to perfection. There must be said that because they put Piakura out of the second row into the centres, they just drilled it. And full credit to the Panthers. They are a machine, although they've lost Cleary now, which is a huge thing for them. But again, the thing about the Panthers, you have to understand, is they're the complete unit in many ways. Them and the Storm are like they're more than the sum of their parts, if you know what I mean by that. They can lose Cleary, and everyone knows what their job is around that. So the new halfback will come in, and Cleary's the best player of our generation. Make no mistakes about it. But the rest of the team will know what to do. They'll gather around and they'll play their role. It's a machine. And that's just the same as the Storm. So the machine kicked into action against the Bronx, and we had no answers. And I think our season's
basically
I was thinking
done.
It's not too many teams get off to the rough start that the Bronx have got off in terms of injuries and go all the way.
Right. I mean, you guys, look, still 24 weeks or so to be able to keep doing this, but
but you can just tell that Haas is out till the 8th week. Reynolds came back this week. That's, oh my God, we knew that. But Reece Walsh is a huge miss.
Right.
And it's just key players, and Brendan Piakura's out as well. We can kind of deal with that. He's only just come into the team, but man, we're just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic sometimes, and it's going to be really tough for us to reach the heights of last year if this continues the way it's going. It just sometimes you just know that the rugby league gods are not in your favour. If we were Melbourne or Panthers, we might put it off, but we haven't yet formed that culture and that kind of machinery that those clubs have. So we're just gonna have to see what happens.
So speaking of, you talked about the Storm. This week, the Storm felt an upset from the Knights, losing their first game, 14-12. Talk to me about it. Let me know what you
Oh
know.
well, again, same thing, really similar thing. So, um, the Newcastle Knights, that's a real rugby league stronghold. That's one of what we would say is just a real heartland of rugby league. So, no game in Newcastle is easy because wherever they are on the table, those fans will turn up and they'll go berserk. You know the type of fans I'm talking about. This time, Storm turned up and they didn't have their two of their big playmakers, and even then, Newcastle were ahead, I think 14-0, and even then Storm nearly ran them down at home. So Craig Bellamy won't be losing any sleep on that. It was just a goal of difference. Newcastle still got some work to do. They've got a good side. They should be going better, in all honesty. They've got Ponga, one of the best in the game at the moment. They've got, they've got some work to do in the halves. Their halves, Jackson Hastings got the boot and he didn't even turn up to training or something. Like he walked straight out of training, so I don't know what's going to happen with him. Um, so they've got a little bit of arranging, but that team's a good side. That should be doing better than what they are. They probably should have won that game a little better. I'm not sure what the deal is with you. I really don't. Again, if their halves are stuffing up, then that doesn't help. But um, so the Storm won't lose any. I mean, again, they've got Craig Bellamy as Bill Belichick or Andy Reid in the competition. They won't be panicking. He knows what to do. He's won enough premierships. He's a dynasty coach. They'll be fine. Don't worry about the Storm.
Let's kind of look forward to what we have coming up for week 4 for NRL. Again, having notable games. Rabbitohs taking on the Bulldog, not so interesting. Roosters taking on
No.
the Panthers.
Yeah, that is a good one because the Roosters look good this year. They flogged South. Souths are in all kinds of trouble. The Rabbitohs are just out of sorts completely now. That's a big talking point because they're a high-profile club, right? Russell Crowe's team, and they've got high-profile players: Latrell Mitchell, Damien Cook, Cody Walker, Cam Murray, and they are 0-3. They're heading into Crusaders territory. Um, and I think, there's a lot. Jason Demetrio, the coach there, he's under tons of pressure. They're the team. I think that you always have your. I don't know
You're
how
talking
it
about
is
the
in the.
Roosters.
No, I'm talking about Rabbitohs. The Rabbitohs are
Rabbitohs.
all kinds of because the Roosters flogged them. Now
Right.
that the other not only is it bad for the Rabbitohs because they're 0-3 and they're 17th on the table, but they are dreaded enemies. They are the league's oldest rivals, and they hate each other's guts. And the Sydney Roosters did them like a dinner, and that will hurt Rabbitohs fans just as much as them starting 0-3.
So do you think
So
that they're going to be trying to pull a strong petty hit against Bulldogs this week?
they need to bounce back. The Doggies came up with a good win against the Titans, who are in all kinds of trouble as well. Um, the Rabbitohs will be wanting to come back with a win. They should win because they're at home against the Doggies, and the Doggies, they're a team that's still trying to find themselves. They've brought up big for the last 2 years, but they're still trying to find themselves. The Rabbitohs should get them, um, but that they need that win. Gosh, they need that win. I reckon they will. Getting back to the Roosters and Panthers, the Roosters have looked pretty good. Now they've lost players as well, but they've got a good tough edge to them that should help them out. They should get them there. And Panthers are losing, so they've lost Nathan Cleary, I think, to round 6 or 8. So that's going to be so that both teams coming with a couple of injuries, but both teams again just have they're both looking pretty tough, and they're looking pretty good. And that's going to be a really good one. That Roosters Panthers game.
Roosters are strong at home typically.
Oh yeah, Roosters are good. I mean, again, so Panthers, Roosters, Storm have been the three. If you had to pick the three tough teams of the last 10 years, those two teams are it. Roosters struggled slightly in the last 2 years, still made the playoffs, but haven't been at their best. But they're looking good this year. They play very hard and very tough.
Let's kind of look over at Broncos Cowboys. Obviously, still Broncos are on their losing streak. Like you said, they already lost a guy to injury for the next 6 weeks. They already didn't have their players this past week. Are they getting back their fly halves and their forward?
One game losing streak. They won 2 weeks ago.
Okay, all
Um,
right.
And
Between Vegas and last week, I don't even think about that middle game in
they
between.
they slapped the Rabbitohs again. So, look, to be honest, these are great games. The Broncos Cowboys games are kind of rivals, but instead of getting into angry punch ups, they play really entertaining rugby league. They try to out entertain each other, which is always great to watch. Um, but the Cowboys put St George to the sword big time last week, and they've got firepower across the field. They
Right,
should they and when they come to Suncorp, because all right, so Queensland. I don't know if you ever looked at a map of how big Queensland is. Queensland is like 4 times the size of Texas,
right.
and North Queensland are right up the north, and we're right down the south. Um, so most people, and because North Queensland has got such a sparse population, like right up there's hardly anybody. Very sparsely populated. A lot of people from North Queensland move to Brisbane to find work, right? And so when they play in Brisbane, it's almost like a 50-50 crowd. Half of them are Cowboys and half of them are Broncos. So it's not a really strong home ground advantage for the Bronx. However, it is a great atmosphere. Like everyone's right into it. It'll be a sellout. But with that, still that strong following the Cowboys have, and the fact that the Broncos don't have Payne Haas and they don't have Reece Walsh, all that hurts. I think the Cowboys still got all their guns, Drinkwater and Val Holmes and Reece Robson and all those guys. They should get that. But it will be a great game. It's always entertaining.
What do you think the score difference will be?
I reckon it'll probably be 6 or 8.
Mm.
They have a really good record of going right down to the last minute. They're really entertaining games. If you want to watch a game of NRL and you want the best one, check out that one. That'll be
Okay.
good.
All right. I'm going to go down the rest of these. I just want you to give me what do you think the score difference or the score will be for each one of these. Okay.
Okay.
First off, Roosters, Panthers.
14-10 to Roosters.
All right. Rabbitohs, Bulldogs.
36-22. No one's going to be tackling. It's going to be 36-22.
To
Rabbitohs. Rabbitohs will get
Rabbitohs.
them. They've just
Dragon,
got
Sea Eagles.
Dragons, Sea Eagles. Oh, the Seagulls will do them bad. Poor old Dragons. They're going to have a tough year, St George. One of the most successful clubs ever, but they're in a spot of bother. They don't have a good squad this year. Seagulls might do them like 30-16. That again. Well, Dragons got pumped last week at home, and Seagulls, 2 Sydney sides. Yeah, I think Eagles will do them.
All right, let's go.
Oh,
Warriors, Knights.
I'm asking for 5. Oh, that'll be a good one. The Warriors at home. Gee, they're getting some good crowds. The Wars, they now call them. They finally broke their losing habit. They've been playing well. They just haven't won games. But they'll do the Knights. I think 20-12.
This is a breakout game for the Warriors to finally get cohesive.
Yeah, they struggled against the Raiders. The Raiders once again got down and dirty. They played that arm wrestle game that they're so good at, and the Warriors just took a while to shake them off. The Warriors they come and go in surges. They just need that 80-minute game, and they can run over most sides. Hopefully, I really like the Warriors. Warriors are good for the NRL. They really are. They're just packing them out over there in New Zealand. They've got a passionate crowd. They got all the drums and they bring all their stuff along and they have a great time. But they will beat the Knights, who are struggling for consistency.
All right, and you were saying what was the score that you predicted?
20-12.
20-12. All right, Titans, Dolphins.
Oh boy, both these teams. It's very hard to get the Dolphins got flogged in their first game. They then flogged St George in their second. Then they had a bye, so they've got no real guide for them. And the Titans haven't won a game yet. Oh, poor Titans. I like the Titans. And they lost Big Tino Falamassi. Sorry, Tino, if I got your name wrong. But I love him. I love him too. He's great. Dolphins. Where is this one? Gold Coast. But it doesn't really matter because both teams are South Queensland sides. I think Dolphins 21-20.
Dolphins 21-20. Oh,
No.
keeping it close. 1 point. Nice.
Yeah, they can have good games too. Could be a couple more tries than that. That'll be a good one.
Man, nice. Sharks, Raiders.
Sharks. These two teams will go pretty hard at each other. It'll be a nice afternoon game. Afternoon games tend to get bigger scores because it's just not so greasy and it's better seeing conditions. Sharks got shocked by the Tigers. Tigers are worth talking about last weekend too. Sharks will bounce back and they'll win against another gritty Raiders effort. Although, again, you don't want to write the Raiders off because they're just getting down and dirty and they've got that arm wrestle stuff. But I reckon Sharks 14 to... I've already said 4. I don't want to say 14. 16 to 12.
16 to 12.
Yeah, against the Raiders.
Sharks, okay.
There's no real confidence in that prediction. Then you got Eels and the Tigers.
Last one.
Eels did really well. Looks like Manly were going to blow them away last week at home, and the Eels came back and won that game. Eels always got plenty of points in them, and Tigers. Now the Tigers are the perennial losers for the last 10 seasons. I don't think they've made the playoffs for 10 seasons. They've been buying up, and people like the Tigers. They're that inner city club, that tough kind of working class area that people really like. They're a lot of people's second favourite team. Newcastle and them are probably everyone's second. Everyone's wanting the Tigers to do well, but they've been crap. But last week they spanked Sharks, which was really great to see. Having said that, Parramatta should have them. I'm going to say 24-20. Hopefully we'll see some tries.
All right. I love it. I love it. Jason, man, I want to thank you for another session of Super Rugby and NRL with Jason Bray. Man, definitely check out his page. Since he finally changed it back to Rugby Lover's Guide to Asia on YouTube and on Instagram and on Facebook. And he dismisses X because he said that it's rubbish and he felt dirty being on it. So
I did. I hated it. Elon Musk, you are a slutty man.
Thank you so much, Jay.
Okay, bye.
Thank you so much, Jason. I appreciate you. Appreciate the expert opinions and looks. We're going to be right back, y'all. We going to be talking a little bit more about what happened this week that's going to be changing really possibly the life of one of the most talented and highly elated rugby players. We're going to be right back. This is Gifted Bailey Rugby Swag Show. Let's go.
Hey everybody, this is just the Bray Train sending out a personal little video diary to all you people out there where I am going to document me riding most of the way between Singapore and Tokyo for the 2019 Rugby World Cup.
I needed help, and it came from Louisiana.
We in Singapore, baby!
Gift from GiftTime Rugby USA is a extroverted tour de force. But what unites us is a hunger for adventure.
Off to KL, Kuala Lumpur. Yeah! Woo!
Gift, where are we?
We're in
Morning, Vietnam! Mount Fuji, baby!
Our love of Asian rugby culture.
1, 2, 3, center!
Rugby is starting to develop here in Cambodia for women as well.
Valkyries, the mighty, mighty Valkyries!
We're out here, we're running out of energy, we're running out of money, and we're feeling isolated. And yet at that critical moment, friends, family, sometimes complete strangers come on board. Before you know it, we're back in the game.
Tokyo, here we come!
Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. Watch the full adventure at crugby.vhx.tv. That's C like SEE rugby.vhx.tv.